What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Today, we're taking a look at a clip from The Line. If you would like to, please go down below to the description and find a link to The Line and to the live stream that this video clip is coming from. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to The Line. I host over on The Line at least twice a month, so I hope to see you over there. All right. Let's get on into the clip. If you're ready to fuck around and find out what this crazy ass caller's talking about today, then please stay tuned.
Let's talk to Gary. Gary's been waiting for a long fucking time. Gary, you're on the line with Forrest and John. How you doing?
Hey, Forrest and John, thank you. I had a philosophical question, more of a philosophical question about morality and myth. Instead of a scientific question. I don't know if you're going to be interested in that.
Probably, yeah. We talk, most of our calls are not about science.
Okay. Well, thank you. All right. So I was listening to The Line a few days ago, and this got me very, very interested. And the caller said, well, love is an objective. You know, it's just there. Don't you believe in love? God is love. So if you believe in love, and look how love is so real in the world, and everybody has romantic feelings, and it brings them together, and therefore God. And the gal on the show said, well, no, I don't believe in love like this objective entity out there that's, you know, has scientific verifiable evidence and scientific verifiable demonstration. I just think that it's a feeling, and we work with that feeling, and it can help us survive. And I was on her side. And so it got me to thinking about morality and mythology. Morality, I look at morality as just as substantial as mythology. I think love is a mythological feeling and reality, and it works, or sometimes it doesn't work. It makes people fight. It's a power and control emotion. It's a power and control dynamic. And I don't think that there's any objective thing out there or entity called love. And so it got me thinking about morality. Morality is the same thing. It's not an entity out there that you can have scientific verifiable evidence, scientific verifiable demonstration. No, it's more of a feeling. It's an emotion. It's a psychological dynamic. And I thought about, well, in that sense, morality is on the level of mythology, the two M's, morality and mythology. And so I said, both of them are ultimately without scientific evidence and demonstration, objectively. So what do you guys think about that?
I feel like I agree with your rhetorical goals, but I don't agree with your exact wording. So like, there is no such thing as morality in an objective sense. You can't go get like a tablespoon of morality. You know what I mean? It's not like a real physical thing. As far as it being scientifically demonstrable or anything like that, it is. You can demonstrate whether someone has morality. You can demonstrate whether different non-human animals have moral behavior. But it's important to remember that we are using our subjective understanding of what we call morality to apply to that. So like, for example, you can demonstrate eusocial, pro-social behaviors. You can demonstrate compassion. You can demonstrate empathy. You can demonstrate animals going out of their way to help one another, even at sacrifice of safety and reward and blah, blah, blah. You can demonstrate grief. We can demonstrate all these things in non-human animals, and we call that morality, and we show that there's more, but that is because that's what we value as a society, as a species. We value those things, and we are calling those things morality. So ultimately, any discussion of morality, yeah, I wouldn't call it mythology, but I get where you're going with that. And I would say, yes, there is any discussion of morality is ultimately hinging on our subjective values as a species. Those values change over time and across cultures. And there's certain things that seem to be pretty ubiquitous across us and other mammals and sometimes other animals beyond that as well. But there is no real genuine thing called morality. There is no actual arbiter or actual judge of any of that. So, yeah, like I said, I value your rhetorical goals, but I disagree with your language, and I would be very careful about that. What are we going for here?
Well, it's just something that I've been pondering. It's a query for me because I'm on a journey, and I've just exited, maybe a few years ago, the Christian theology paradigm, and I've left that all behind. And so I'm trying to discover and get. I'm trying to discover something. But let me quickly. I've been reading Friedrich Nietzsche and Hume and others, radical skeptics, and Friedrich Nietzsche's atheism was quite different from Hume. But let me just put it out here. Friedrich Nietzsche said that there is no God. We have killed him. God is dead. The whole business. Most famous atheist philosophically. And so he said, so God is dead. Now, God for him, philosophically, was ontology. Onto meaning being. So you have this ultimate being, ontology. Here's the ultimate being. Beingness itself is dead. And many people don't understand that he was saying, basically, in the whole realm of truth, reality, the universe, everything, morality, even science itself, has no beingness to it, that there's no ontological ultimate certainty, there's no ontological ultimate status. So what I'm getting at is this, that morality has no ontological certainty, morality has no ontological status, and just like God, that's gone. All ontology is gone. Just like mythology is the ontology of gods. There's God, there's Zeus, there's Jehovah, there's this and that, there's Krishna. But he was wiping the slate clean. He says, don't look for any ontology in this universe. Morality itself is not ontological. It is existential. So that's where I'm going with this, is that morality is existential and it has no ontological status or ontological certainty. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so I get hung up. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a philosopher. So I get hung up on some of these terms between existential versus ontological and everything, but I'm pretty sure I agree with that more or less. Just to be clear, I don't think there's any actual such thing as morality. I think that what we call morality is an evolved trait. I think that there is adaptive utility to what we would associate with certain moral behaviors, certain things that are pro-social and eusocial, and that the compassion and empathy and self-sacrifice and all those things play a big part in the group selection and make species more adaptive and more fit. So I'm cool with all that. And I'm cool with the nihilistic approach to morality of saying that there is no real such thing as that. It is just mythology, for lack of a better word. Like you say, I think that's fine. You have mythology that we come up with to make ourselves more comfortable in the void. I'm fine with that. I wouldn't put that out to literally all of existence. I do think there's objective reality. There's just no objective morality.
I see. That's a very good clarification on your part. Yes, I see where you're coming from. Very, very, very good. That's really, there's certainly quite a challenge to that as an atheist or someone who's questioning, because I noticed that on the line, you guys are passionate about social issues, whether it's the gay community, transgender, whatever it may be. You want to show that there is an intelligent and compassionate way to look at things with those subject matters. And it just occurred to me, if mythology is just, if morality is just another form of mythology, how do you ground yourself in that passion that you guys have for these different subjects that you're talking about, caring for the poor, the gay community, transgender, trying to understand, trying to have compassion, taking the side of understanding? What is the ultimate ground then? If morality is ultimately without substance, i.e., a form of mythology for our species, where are you grounding it in this empathy and understanding you have for social issues?
That's actually a really good question. So if we don't think, or if I can speak for myself at least, if I don't think that there is such thing as objective morality, and I don't think that there is such thing as morality in a real sense, then why am I so incredibly passionate about helping marginalized people and sticking up for people in all these different areas? There's a couple of reasons. Number one, because this is a big question, so I'm going to do a bad job organizing my thoughts here, but I'm going to try. Number one is because, as I said before, pro-social behaviors are actually adaptive. There's actually an evolutionary backing behind them. I don't plan on driving human evolution through compassion. I don't think that's a reasonable thing, but it is very apparent that societies work better. That's why they are adaptive. That's why these things evolve. Societies work better when we have that kind of compassionate backing. So I can now argue from a completely selfish standpoint and from a completely selfless standpoint that inclusivity, compassion, social justice, social welfare, all these things that help the weakest and most vulnerable among us be made as equal as possible, those things are good for everybody. Those things are good for me because they objectively help societies grow and prosper and thrive. Diversity is strength. And also, selflessly, I can say that I care about humanity. I care about my fellow people. I don't need an objective morality to decide on my own that this is the kind of person that I want to be. The second thing that I would say is that, like, the highest level of moral development is the development and application of universal moral principles. And again, these can be selfless or selfish. So I can say that I value, say, for example, bodily autonomy. And for that reason, I am now able to say, I don't want anybody stabbing me. And also, I don't think that I should be stabbing anybody else. And I can do that based on a universal principle that I no longer have to violate. I can be consistent and honest with my morality without being wishy-washy and deciding when it's good enough or useful enough to me to be a moral person. At the end of the day, I don't think that I'm going to be punished or rewarded after death. So, like, there's no carrot or stick here for me besides, I guess, the legal system. But it is just, trying what I think is right. And so I'm giving myself the opportunity to live as authentically as I can and to do what I think is right at all times. I think that is a gift, and it's hard to talk about without sounding incredibly fucking full of myself. So I try not to. And then the last thing is that it's important to remember that the problems that we have when we talk about homelessness, we talk about anti-LGBT sentiment, we talk about racism, when we talk about all these different things, they are the result of ignorance, stupidity, outdated fear, xenophobia, capitalism, all sorts of things that I am strongly against as a scientist and as somebody who is interested in progress and in knowledge and in thought. So, like, again, from a selfish standpoint and from a selfless standpoint, I can say that the systems and ideologies that gave us the type of hate and oppression that we struggle with every single day and have historically struggled with for hundreds of thousands of years, those same stupid heuristics, those same shackles are burdening us today. And so from a selfish standpoint, I want to be free of that because it's hurting me too. And from a selfless standpoint, I want to see society advance. So like those are ways that I can address these things without needing to say there's definitely a real thing called morality and it looks like this. I can say there is no fucking morality. I am deciding that these are my principles. I am living in my most authentic self, standing up for these principles. And these principles happen to include freeing myself and people around me that I love and care about from the burdens of these stupid, outdated systems that have given us stupid, outdated problems like capitalism, racism, homophobia, xenophobia, blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, yes. Well, thank you. Yeah, it does, and I got my listening ears on, so yeah, I do appreciate that. And like I said, I myself am just working through this. I've been listening to The Line for particularly Matt Dillahunty years ago, an atheist experience, and he came up with something that literally was a complete game changer in my life, which you have hinted on, and I've listened carefully to what you said, and I am tuning into it. But I want to leave on one point, and that this Matt Dillahunty, what he did to me, it's all his fault. I'm just kidding. I'm being funny and facetious. But he was saying, this caller came in and said, well, the Bible says, and the morality of the Bible, and God did this and this and this and that. And years ago, this was about 7 years ago, and Matt Dillahunty said one thing that changed the whole game for me and how I approach reality and truth. He said simply this. He said to the caller, do you know that what you've done here is just made assertions? You're making assertions. You're making claims. But where is the scientific verifiable evidence and the scientific verifiable demonstration of those assertions and claims? Now, when he said that 7 years ago, I said to myself, my God, I've been taking those biblical claims as equaling evidence. The Bible proves the Bible proves the Bible. And when he said that, something clicked in me, and I said, my God, that's what I've been doing. I've been making a false, yeah.
That's why we do these shows, my dude. You've got a bunch of people here who don't believe in an afterlife, sacrificing hours and hours and hours a week to get those exact moments out of people because we think that that religion is an evil thing that is hurting people. And we want to help people like you free yourself from this dogma and from the shackles of this religion. So I'm thrilled to hear that one of these worked for you and that Matt was able to be so impactful for you. And I see you're still calling in as a theist, but you said throughout the call here that you're deconstructing slowly. I can't fucking wait for you to call in and tell us about how you don't believe in any of these gods anymore, man.
Well, yeah, I'm literally, it's a clear horizon. All I got before me is a clear horizon, and I'm glad to get through tonight, and I noticed I didn't hear John. It seems like John has disappeared. Is he still there?
He is. He just hates you.
Oh, he is. He does? Oh,
no, I'm just teasing. I'm just messing with you. His mic is muted, though.
No, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I just didn't have any extra input that Forrest wasn't already covering. So I thought Forrest did a fine job, so I just I doodled. I doodled a little beach scene.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. I want to thank you guys for picking up the phone, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks so much, Gary. I appreciate your call, man. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
What a nice dude. Hope things go well for him.
Yeah. I really wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything. I literally thought that you were handling it fine.
I thought you weren't disrespecting me. You weren't bothering me. I appreciate it.
Well, heathens, that's going to be it for today's clip from the line. Again, if you would like to subscribe to the line, their links are in the description. So please go down there and subscribe. And as a reminder, I do host over there at least twice a month on either a Sunday or a Monday. So if you want to see more of me answering questions from callers, please go over to the line and subscribe. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.